in order to get a challenge of these views, we have invited, well, 4 young change makers, DTU students, and 2 of them could make it here today to challenge and give their input to these views. So I would like to welcome online Valeria Grabendorf and Eva Campos Cantu. And while this is happening, I can inform you all that both these students, they have been part of the DTU Skylab open sprints. And DTU Skylab is DTU's living lab for innovation and entrepreneurship, where students, researchers, and corporate partners meet to exchange knowledge and develop visionary solutions for real-world challenges. So Valeria,
hello.
You are there, hello? You are muted?
Hello.
Hello. Valeria, welcome. You are a previous participant in the Skylab Lead Innovation Program, Open Innovation on Green Mobility. And Valeria, you also did a project within the topic of electrical scooters in Copenhagen, here in Denmark. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Then I just, so hello everyone. Just going to share my screen. So, okay. So, hello, my name is Valeria Grabendorf. I'm a student from Germany, but I lived in Copenhagen from last October till February for an internship, and there I joined the Nordic Health Hackathon. So maybe just a little bit about me. I study design of connected devices at the HFG Schwäbisch Gmünd in Germany, and I focus on digital product design, user research, product development, prototyping, but also user research and user testing. And during my studies, I found my passion for startups and hackathons. And due to that, I already work at 2 different startups, one being in Copenhagen and the other one this year in Lisbon. But it was also remotely due to the COVID situation. And I joined around 10 hackathons so far. And like I said before, one of them being the Nordic Health Hack last October. So yeah, there I did a project, Good to Go, towards responsible mobility. Yeah, and the topic was already in that time, the trend of e-scooters was rising and the whole city was full of them, but also the number of accidents was rising, and many of them also, unfortunately, due to drunk driving. And due to that, we developed a plugin for the operator's mobile application that simply blocks the access to service for drunk users. And how we did that, because we're a team of me being a designer and my other teammates were studying AI. So they worked on an AI model which detects the drunkenness based on voice and facial expressions. Now I can show you a little demo of that. So yeah, you open the operator app, and this, for example, would be Lime. And then when it's like a specific time, it would ask you to check your, if you're drunk or not. And then you have to make like a little video of yourself where you would say like a predefined sentence. And then due to your voice and facial expression, it would either detect that you're good to go and you can drive, or that you're blocked for some time and you can't use the app now. So yeah, but unfortunately, due to the workload of our studies and the current COVID situation, we did not continue with the project so far, but yeah, we are still thinking about picking it up at another point. So yeah, and then the next one, I will think about what are my expectations for the future of urban mobility. And for me, this was quite a hard question, because I was thinking, okay, of course, we should constantly increase sustainability, the energy efficiency, make use of latest technology, but also focus on the need of all the citizens. But I felt like this was kind of a bland answer. So I was all thinking, which are companies or startups that I think represent for me the future of urban mobility, and which can be seen as an inspiration or understanding the market. So I show you some examples. For example, BlaBlaCar is like a platform where you can share your ride with somebody. So currently, especially in Germany, where I'm from, most people still have like a personal car, and you super often drive somewhere and you're actually the only one there. So it's like super efficiency, it's expensive and super unsustainable. So this gives a great chance to share your personal car with other people. But we also all know that autonomous driving is coming. Yeah, and I think it's sometimes a little bit hard to understand at which point we are currently and how effective is working. And like, for example, this company creates scalable LiDAR systems which support the mission of realizing autonomous driving and make it more mass production friendly. Yeah, and then we also have all the examples like e-scooters, bikes, or cars, which connect the power of electric driving, which I think is like a key thing, with the sharing aspect. Yeah, and in general reduce the needs for individual vehicles. So we have the thing of electric driving, the sharing aspects, yeah, and the reduction of individual vehicles. So, but then there's one issue also, that we also know that the current battery life or the current battery in electric vehicles is, yeah, a little bit problematic in some cases. And I think this is super interesting. Like this company, for example, uses predictive analytics to increase the battery efficiency and lifetime. So to even though electric driving is more sustainable, or should be in most cases, it still can be developed and like improve at this point. So yeah, like I said before, I think all of these and many, of course, more examples are my personal expectations of the future mobility and are great examples. So yeah, and then I was also thinking about what are current issues should be improved to like get there. And as you can see in the screenshot, I think one of the biggest issues regards open mobility is the lack of transparency and understanding. Like, for example, are e-scooters really sustainable? I heard stories of that they only have a lifetime of like 3 months and then they just get like thrown away, or like again with the battery life. So yeah, how sustainable are they really? Or how many users really know the answer to that? Or does it really make sense for me personally, financially, or sustainable wise to invest in an electric car? So I think we need more education about this current status quo and new products so that people understand their impact. And I also think it should maybe be even more rewarded in some way. Like, for example, the city where I'm from, in Stuttgart, it's still cheaper for me to drive to the city with my personal car than use the public transport. And I feel things like that are like super, yeah, stopping the trend to develop further in a better direction. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie. And we also have with us today Eva Paulo Campos Cantu to give us a community perspective and influencers' hope and expectations for the future. I can inform she graduated a DTU student in urban planning engineering, and she's part of Future Urban Leaders Network. And in this capacity, she took part in the Next Generation City Action, which was part of the C40 World Mayor Summit here in Copenhagen last year. And currently, Eva is writing a scientific publication on her thesis on the topic of livability impact assessment of neighborhoods. Hello, Eva.
Hi.
Very good. I just introduced you. Very good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
We welcome now your perspectives and inputs to the future of urban mobility, please.
Yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity. I will just quickly share a bit of my screen. I don't have a detailed presentation, but I will just share a bit of my profile and work as a young leader for urban planning. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you and hi everyone. As Henrik already introduced me, I am just graduated from urban planning here, and I come from Mexico. I come from a city in which I never before used a bicycle as a transport mean, and also a city in which I used to commute distances longer than 2 hours a day from my home to my activities. So when I came for the first time to the Nordics, it was a very big challenge in a positive way to first adapt to a very contrasting environment, but also to figure out that yeah, how different were the realities here regarding sustainable mobility and green mobility, and back in my context. Anyhow, that only made me more engaged to actively participate on this. That's why I've been, for the last couple of years here, been involved in participating as youth representative for participatory planning. And I have been participating last year in C40 and also with the, in the City Hall with Copenhagen's Commune on how the youth can be, the youth voice can be put together with the current needs and planning for sustainable cities. And with that interest, I have also been working on the side on spreading the voice and expanding what is our local reality here in the Nordics with other contexts. That's why I have international networks on which I enable talks with people in the Nordics and people in the rest of Europe, but also with people overseas, to share a bit about what can we actually put together, what are the different challenges we face regarding the path towards sustainability, and how can we somehow cooperate, and how can we enable discussions and understand each other's reality. That's what I do on the side, and as part of my studies and with the great interest on the sustainable transitions, I recently developed with my master thesis a tool on how to assess livability performance in urban districts. Why districts and neighborhoods? I also coincide with Marie on the great necessity to have more micro development and neighborhood scale, and I was curious to assess how do they perform on the neighborhood level and not on the city level. And just talking about the different values that I evaluated with this tool, I look at the mobility patterns, I look at mobility behavior and preference, and just at the local context, it's still a fact that people that live in the city sometimes have to commute long distances to their workplaces or schools, for example. Me as a person that went to DTU, I was commuting there at least 2 hours a day, again here in Denmark, to come from home to school. So it's still a big reality and challenge we face nowadays, the sprawl and the great spread of the different activities we have in our daily lives. And yeah, that's basically just part of what I found with this research. I'm super keen on continue working on this tool because I do believe that understanding the local values for livability, which I know that they are different from one context to another, and to assess them can give us a better understanding on how to shape sustainable behaviors. What I really hope for the future of urban mobility is, again, to have this more people-centric focus, to actually, yes, focus much on smart solutions and technology, but start to plan much more for the pedestrians and the active mobility, not only for the cars and the streets. And the obstacles that I have found sometimes on the way is in the participatory planning, when you are involved as the youth perspective, you are just invited to the table and you have very interesting discussions. But when the programs are finished, sometimes there is no follow-up on how to stay connected or how to continue an active participation beyond an idea sharing. So I think that will be an area that I would personally like to look further, to how to create this live network on constantly sharing, and not only program isolated or event isolated collaboration. And basically the participatory planning to involve much more the youth perspective on it. And that will be all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eva, and also thank you, Valerie.